Hangover. That's right. Welcome to the After Party Hangover. I'm your host, Mangria Field, and this is the show that talks about a show that talks about a show. Today, we have the man who rose to Steel Real After Party fame with his Survivor Series story and his regular appearances on the Instagram and Facebook questions. Ladies and gentlemen, hashtag we got one. It's Mr. underscore. What's going on, my man?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's your day going?
I was good. I got stuck in a little traffic and saw your message and pulled over into a Baker's parking lot. So let's do this thing.
Explain to the peoples your Instagram name. I'm pretty sure it's straightforward, but just for those who are curious.
Yeah, my last name is Tryon, and I'm a Mr. So I put an underscore in between it. And...
Nailed it. Alrighty, well, how did you start watching wrestling? What led you down the road to WWE or professional wrestling as it is?
Well, it started off with WCW, actually. I believe I was in the 4th grade and just happened to be flipping through the channels and saw some scary looking guy with white and black face paint on and a scorpion on his shirt. And I'm like, this guy's awesome. And started watching and I watched for a little bit. And then even as a 10-year-old, I was smart enough to realize that Vince Russo was an idiot. And so I stopped watching and then got into middle school and had a little group of friends that we were all talking about wrestling. So I was like, I'll start watching again. And I've been hooked ever since.
What do you tell people when you get that annoying person that comes up to you and goes, you know it's fake, right?
Well, last time I got that, it was from a Game of Thrones fan. And I was like, you know they're not real dragons, right? Well, that's different.
Exactly. What a hypocrite. Jeez.
Yeah. I was like, just shut up and let me watch it. That's my favorite response.
So you're saying you started out a Stinger fan and not a Hogan
fan?
Oh, nice.
No, I was Team Sting.
How did you discover the Steel Real After Party podcast?
I went in the search bar on Instagram one day, and I was following a couple of different wrestling pages, and then Steel Real to Us popped up, and I was scrolling through it. I'm like, man, these memes are pretty funny, and so I followed the page, and then I saw they kept putting links to the podcast on there. And so one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to it. And that's when it was Steel Real Radio. And, I listened to it. I listened to that thing religiously every Wednesday on my way home from work. I couldn't wait to listen to the Steel Real Radio. And then, it just disappeared out of nowhere.
Same here.
Yeah, then
exactly.
It disappeared. And I just kept looking back, searching, trying to find it.
Refreshing.
Yep, constantly. And then all of a sudden I hear this thing about the Steel Real After Party. And to be honest, I was like, well, if Zanka's still on it, I'm going to listen to it. And then, I was hooked from episode 1.
When do you listen to it? Like, how do you listen? Do you listen at work or do you listen on the way home?
I usually listen to it usually on Wednesdays. I'm driving on Wednesday nights to work and back, and I'll just listen to it then. It used to take me about 2 days to get through a full podcast because they're so long now, but now sometimes I take the super long way home just to finish listening to it.
Oh, that's nice. So you do it on purpose so you can fit the whole cast in, huh?
Yeah, so that way I'm not trying to go back and wait, what was it that he said? And try to click it all together. But yeah.
Well, when you're driving home and you're listening to the podcast, is there ever a segment or something? Like, what's your favorite segment that makes you laugh so hard you almost drive off the road?
Instagram questions are always hilarious, but there was one week in particular, I was working a late shift and I was driving to work, and I listened to it the next day on a Thursday, and it was when Deaf Bob Lars first started. I think he was just Deaf Lars.
Oh, the debut. Yeah.
He wasn't even deaf yet. It was before they even realized he was deaf, but when Zanka and Jake were just going back and forth, man, and literally I'm driving through a part of the freeway where there's no shoulder, there's just walls on both sides, and I'm literally like trying to keep my truck on the road because I'm like, don't laugh too hard.
Yeah, they started saying that Lars's tongue is way too big for his mouth, and then they had him talking funny at first, and then They went on to Deaf Lars.
Yeah, then it became Deaf Bob Lars, and just the character evolved over time.
It was fucking magic,
That's
dude.
how you
That's the
build a
best
character right
thing.
there.
Yeah, pretty much. They should be in charge
Yep,
of Lars Sullivan.
they should.
Well, starting out as a Stinger fan all the way back when, watching wrestling up until now, do you have a favorite theme song you listen to? A reoccurring, like a song you listen to when you work out or again when you're driving? Or a ringtone?
I was really big on Edge's theme song when he first became the Radar Superstar, and he started using that new theme song.
Oh, the one with lyrics.
Yeah, you think you know me.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And
Yeah.
I will listen to that to get pumped up. But every morning, actually, I have as one of my alarms, I have AJ Styles theme song.
Nice.
And then now driving into work, I'll listen to the Fiends theme song just to freak everybody out as I pull in to the parking lot.
Dude, that song, that's song of the year right there. When it's my birthday next month, I'm gonna be blasting that fucking song all the way to Vegas. I love that song.
Oh, you know what, man? I'll be blasting it too on your birthday just because, just for you.
All right, in honor, in honor.
Yeah, in honor.
Well, we touched on this already, but was Sting your favorite superstar of all time, or did you have a different one?
He was at the time, and I still think, just because he was my first superstar, I liked. He is, but yeah. I've definitely started. I had other ones as time went on. Edge is definitely probably my number 2 or 3. And then,
wow.
And then I really liked Randy Orton back in like 2008, 2009 when he first got the sleeve tattoos and started punting people in the head.
When he punted that old man in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, whatever happened to that old guy? Oh no.
I don't know. I think he went on to he created some kind of bogus football league.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadistic Orton is always the best Orton.
It is. Babyface Orton, I could care less about.
Favorite match of all time in your years and years of wrestling, the match that you would show someone to get them into wrestling, what would that be?
Oh, that match would be Mick Foley and Edge at WrestleMania. I'm drawing a blank. I think it's 21, the hardcore match.
It was 22.
22,
yeah. We get him, put him through the flaming table.
Yeah, that match. I literally, like, every other month, I'll just randomly, like, I'm going to watch that match. I'm going to watch just a clip of it. And next thing I know, I'm watching the whole thing. And it
was a hardcore match, right?
Yeah, it was a hardcore match. This is right before One Night Stand when they became the co-hardcore champions.
So is that your favorite gimmick match, a hardcore match?
Yeah, I would say. Just because I just like straight hardcore. Like when they say no holds barred or those other things. I mean, those are cool, but a hardcore match, it just seems like anything can happen.
Yeah, no holds barred or unsanctioned, hardcore, it all means the same.
Yeah.
Someone's getting a kendo stick, and one person will be put through a table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow up playing the WWE video games?
I did.
What was your favorite?
Ooh. You know what? One of my favorites was because I don't have any current video games because otherwise I'd just be in my house playing video games all the time. And, I got a kid now and a job and, I got a mortgage to pay. So I can't just be playing video games all day. But the last one I had was, I believe it was 2K17. And I played that thing just nonstop. As a 27-year-old man, I just played it nonstop.
Well, who was your go-to character?
I like to create a character. That was always my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one of them, I'm probably going to get crap for this, but I'm a Roman guy. So I would always play.
I thought you were going to say Edge. Wow. Roman. Yeah, he's got a good moveset and all his stats are like at 90.
Yeah, that's why.
He's usually the go-to good character to be.
Yeah, he couldn't be beat.
Exactly. Yeah, I grew up being obsessed with the creative characters, and that was my favorite thing to do in all of the video games. So I would always make my friends and family. And back when it was on the 360, you could put your own music tracks for their entrance music. And every year, me and my friends would get together and just laugh and watch all the dumb shit I created. And now Jake has kind of brought that back doing the After Party Pro Wrestling. I get a kick out of that.
I know I'm still waiting for a Mr. Tryon character, Jake. Just throwing that out there, Jake.
It's funny when you said you're a parent now and you got a mortgage to pay and everything. That was when I first started looking at your profile, because I think we became friends a while back. I was like, oh, this dude's a dad, and I'm always curious to know, when do you actually get time to watch wrestling? Do you have to like ask your wife, like, please give me this hour so you can watch the wrestling without the kid jumping all over you?
You know what? Like, as far as Raw and SmackDown goes, like, I'm usually watching it on Hulu, or I'm watching clips on YouTube. Like, I hardly ever get to watch a full episode. But whenever there's a
Yeah.
pay-per-view on, I just always tell her, hey, yeah, this show's on tonight. She goes, oh, okay. And she lets me watch it. The coolest thing, my favorite event is the Royal Rumble. And for this year's Rumble,
Yes.
I got off of work at midnight, and I told her, I was like, hey, I'm probably going to be up all night watching this. And I got home, and there was a 6-pack of beer and a bag of chips and a note that said, enjoy the Royal Rumble. So she
Wow.
gets it. I picked the winner.
She better get a really good birthday present this year, or anniversary present for that one. That's amazing. Yes. Does she ever watch, or is she just like, meh?
She watches with me sometimes. It's kind of hard now with the kid because one of us has to be paying attention to him so he doesn't kill himself. So that's usually her. But before he was born, she would watch WrestleMania. She'd watch some of the big ones with me. She didn't understand anything that was going on. Like, she watched the Mania with me when Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank, and I had to.
I was there.
You were there? Oh
yeah.
Man, that's amazing. But I had to explain to her what the Money in the Bank was and all that, and by the end she goes, I don't get it, but it was cool.
Yeah, usually casual fans, like, if nothing else, they love watching Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They'll sit through that, but all the other nonsense, they're like, I got better things to
do.
Well, you kind of almost answered my Instagram question I had for you. I was digging through my Instagram questions, and I was going to ask you, what are your WWE pay-per-view go-to snacks?
Yeah, it's usually some kind of beer and some kind of chips. Got to be spicy chips, though.
Beer and spicy chips. Yeah. Any brand specific?
Well, I think for WrestleMania this year, it was the Doritos, the Flamin' Nacho, that new one of it.
Oh shit!
The Flamin' Hot Nacho or whatever it was that they came out with.
Yeah.
All I know is I was about 2 matches in, and I was like, "Oh, this bag's almost gone."
Are you a Coors guy or Budweiser guy, Steve Weiser guy?
It all kind of depends what kind of mood I'm in. I don't discriminate against any of them.
Yeah.
As long as they get the job done, if you know what I mean.
Of course. I hear you, man. I always got my beer next to me.
Yeah.
For every pay-per-view as well. Well, my friend, you get a privilege. You get to decide the next round of the finishing move Crum-Offs. And your moves you get to pick from, you get to decide whether Razor's Edge proceeds or the Claymore kick proceeds to the next round. What say you?
That's a tough
one. Razor Ramon's finisher, the elevated like power bomb, which has got him an Intercontinental Championship, versus Drew McIntyre's pretty much leg muscle missile coming to your jaw, knocking your ass out. He hasn't won too many championships with it, but he was NXT champion. I believe it's still an impressive move, but this is all up to you. Go. What do you think?
I would have gone with the Razor's Edge. But it seemed like it was always a dominant finisher. But then remember, Roman was using it for a while and never won a match with it.
Roman used the Razor's Edge?
Yeah, just a handful of times, and it seemed like he would never win a match. He'd do like a sit down version of it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go.
Oh yeah. You're right. That's right.
But then I think I'm gonna have to go with the Claymore kick, only because when I first saw it, I thought it was just a normal big boot, and I'm like, well, that's kind of dumb. Until I realized he elevated it, and then when he slaps his legs and makes that sound, I'm like, ooh, it just sounds painful. So I'm going with the Claymore.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Nice. All righty. Thanks to Mr. _Tryon. Claymore moves on to the next round. And next week's guest will determine the next set of moves that move on. But I won't reveal it. Okay. Now, let us talk about your Survivor Series story.
All right.
That story alone, when they read it on air, made me laugh so hard And you personally get my nomination for Hall of Fame this year
Oh,
because of
thanks.
that story, dude.
Thanks, bro.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
And I have a special request for you.
Okay.
Can you do another story, but this time a Royal Rumble story with the SRAP characters? And all of us too.
Okay.
I'll put you up to the task for this coming week's podcast. See if they read it on air. Hopefully they do.
Anyway, okay. So yeah, I can definitely do that.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I cannot wait to hear it.
Yeah, that the Survivor Series one took me a minute, so I'm going to try to get this one. I'll try to get this one done by this week's podcast.
Thank you. Now it is time to review the Steel World After Party episode 90, Cake Sitting. Google it.
All right, let's do this.
Let me start by asking, did you Google it?
I did not, only because I wanted to because of Jake's reaction. I was like, I gotta see what this is. But then I thought about it. I'm like, do I really want to see what this is? You know, it's for me. I got done listening to it. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. I'm like, do I really want this to ruin the middle of my week? I was like, you know what? I'll pass on it.
Yeah, there was no chance in hell I was going to Google that because, you know, as a young man watching and exploring all kinds of different porn, like on a previous Hangover, I explained the hentai and the midget porn.
Oh, yes,
and
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see any cake sitting. All right, I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I stumbled onto the feet porn, which I do not understand why people love feet, I was done Googling different kinds of porn, just straight up sex, and I'm good.
Yeah, cake sitting. Yeah,
so
I think some things are better left to the imagination.
We'll leave the cake sitting brain damage for Jake.
Yeah.
He can be haunted by that forever.
Yep.
But this week we got some more vocabulary from Zanka, which I had never heard before, such as prison pocket.
Yes, that one.
The brown wind of doom.
Yeah. You can always rely on Zanka for some new vocabulary.
Have you heard of the word grundle?
I think I have. I don't know. It might have just been on the podcast. I don't think I've heard it.
I've never heard of that. And Jake was saying, really? That's a real common term. Like I never even
heard
I
know.
That before.
Yeah.
The world wants to know. Try on can't get on board with L. What was that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I needed to clarify that. So the original hashtag was supposed to say something like, you know, hashtag Zanka, you're the man. I love you. If you ever need to hide a body, I got you. But I can't get on board with liking Rowan.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Everybody would have been devastated if you would have said Lars. But Rowan, that's very understandable.
Yeah, as soon as he read that, I was waiting for that on the question. I was going to see what his reaction was. And then when I heard him just say L, I was like, L? What do you mean? I went home and I looked at him like, oh, I got cut off somehow.
Yeah, he's going to have to put in a lot of work to get Rowan over with everybody because so far he just sounds like regular Lars instead of deaf Lars.
Yeah, he just sounds like normal Lars. Yeah, it's going to take some time.
Also, I want to give you another shout out for your hashtag. I don't want reparations. I just want a shirt. That popped me big time, man. That was hella funny. Oh, shit. And, by the way, Sticks Adam broke Jake.
He did.
After that question, Jake was just done. So I feel so bad for Bretsky's question. And
you know, man, I knew that was coming. The last few weeks I've been listening. I'm like, it's gonna get to him one day. That's why. You know, I love my hashtags, but I try to stay away from any of the Jake touches kids hashtags.
Yeah, it sounds like Sticks Adam grabbed the reins with that one, and he's continuing. I don't know. It's funny. Jake needs to learn how to take jokes better, is what I think. I mean, it is a little over. He's going overboard with it, but it still is funny whenever he reacts like that. And Zanka's right. He goes, the more you push back, the more funny it's going to be.
Exactly. And the more he's going to do it, too. The more we know we can get a reaction out of him.
Exactly. I got to apologize right now to Julius Caesar because he posted the sandwich question first on Instagram. I woke up hungry and I was thinking, do I want a sandwich or a burger? And then I was thinking, I wonder what they like on a sandwich. So then I just put that on there real quick without knowing that Julius Caesar posted it first. I apologize. I should have switched it to Perfect Burger. I take full responsibility. My bad.
Yeah, I thought it was like one of those national sandwich days or something like that. I'm like, now, and then I ended that podcast wanting a sandwich. So thank you guys.
Exactly. Talking about the Texas toast, the
Yeah.
ham melt, and the grilled cheese. It's like, oh man, I'm hungry. And also, Tryon, you were incredible at the questions. This week's question inspired me to create some. It inspired me to create some generic art. So later on tonight, pay attention to the page because I will be posting #DecentDX.
All right.
They made all the choices on who's going to be who, so I'm going to post it. That was an excellent question, and your hashtags are always funny.
Thank you.
I got to give you props, man.
Thanks, man.
See, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer here. See,
I hope so.
It's like everybody know. I do want to ask you something about your thoughts on the Andy versus Sam feud. What are your thoughts on the battle raps and the jabs at each other?
Andy's a man.
The man with the spoonful of truth.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Andy's killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure about it at first. I was kind of watching like what's going on here, and then I got into it after a while. I'm Team Andy.
Oh, Team Andy. Oh, he's gonna love to hear that. Okay. We started this week's week 2 of NXT on USA with an undisputed balcony. Did you catch that? Like they all came out like on this one section of the screen, and they all had their titles.
Yeah,
watching.
I thought that was pretty sick. I like the way that they all had the belts up, and we already knew that they were all draped in gold, but seeing it like that, I was like, wow.
They're the rulers of the NXT kingdom.
And actually, you forgot though, what they actually started off with was Triple H trying to brainwash us by constantly repeating, "We are NXT."
Did you notice they showed it from a different angle?
Yeah.
Because the original angle is when the mic cut out. Mm-hmm. And this time it was just at full. You could understand exactly what he was saying. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And we kicked off the show tonight with one of the most impressive matches I think I've ever seen on NXT. We had bask in his glory Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic. I can't say that name.
I think it's Dijakovic, but I like your pronunciation better.
Sounds like I had a stuttering problem. The power, the speed of Keith. Holy shit.
Dude,
that was a good match.
Dude, I was in awe watching that. I mean, that's got to be...
I mean, I've seen Keith Lee take on other people before with Lars, and then there was this other dude with long hair who looked bouncy. But him versus Dominic, my God, impressive.
Sorry, have you seen their other 2 matches that they've had?
I did not.
Okay, the first one, it was pretty impressive, but had a shoddy finish. I mean, they had a double count out. The second one was almost a repeat of the first one, but with a finish. And so when I heard that they were doing this one, I'm like, I guess, have a third match, whatever. I love Keith Lee, but I was like, I'm really not too into it. Dude.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I was standing up. Just what? I was like, a big man should not move like that.
Up off the floor, dude. And you've seen their 3 matches. Which match was the best one out of the 3?
This one, especially.
This one, okay, good.
Yeah, especially with it's a lot of the same moves. Them fighting on the top turnbuckle, trying to get over the top rope, but that Canadian Destroyer off of the top rope by Gata, however you pronounced it. That dude was amazing. But then Keith Lee's almost Undertaker like kick out, and then doing the John Cena roll through and all that. I was just wow.
Dominic chokeslammed Keith on the fucking ring apron.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the ring apron held up on that.
Same here.
Can you imagine how bad that hurt?
It made me shudder when I saw it. I'm like, it made me feel pain almost. And
Keith with the corkscrew plancha to Dominic. Holy shit. That unbelievable, man. That was a butthole clinching moment right there. I was like, oh, please don't mess up.
You know what, man? This match made me feel bad about myself because I'm a large man as well. You know, I'm a little bit smaller than Keith Lee, but I was like, man, these guys are doing flips and doing crazy moves and doing all this. You know, I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning sometimes.
Dude, I understand. I sweat when I fucking tie my shoes. So how are these guys doing a corkscrew planchas and fucking lifting each other? It's crazy. But Keith Lee, 6'2", 340-pound moonsault. My God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We got Dominic with the, like you said, the Avalanche Canadian Destroyer from the top rope. Mm-hmm. But Keith Lee wins with his signature Big Bang Catastrophe.
Awesome. I didn't know that's what it was called either. That's an awesome name.
Yeah, I paid attention tomorrow. I had to watch it a couple times. But, yeah, that's what he calls it. Then we come up with the Candice LeRae versus Shayna Baszler preview. And I noticed that Morrow called Candice Tenacious C.
Tenacious C, yeah, that's right.
Very weird. And Beth, speaking of commentary, I think Beth is getting better. Beth is getting better than Renee, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hands down. She started off a little rough, but she's definitely improved over time.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because she's married to Edge.
Yeah, that's right, huh? You're an Edge fanboy. I forgot about that. And then we get Dakota Kai coming out. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was funny that the Titantron is her face.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was cool. She finally comes back. Dakota Kai, the captain of Team Kick, taking on Tayanara. And I gotta, you know, I'm a man. I got a sick way of watching women's wrestling. I don't know if I'm the only one. I can't be, but I cannot help but notice when women have camel toes when they come out there.
Yeah.
Like whenever women start wrestling, that's where my eyes go. I'm like, does she have a camel toe? There's a camel toe. There's a camel toe.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude, you're not trying to be a pig, but stuff like that sticks out.
It's just noticeable, you know. I mean, because when dudes come out, we don't look for camel knuckle. Or what they call it, moose knuckle. We just see them beating the shit out of each other. But when the chicks come out, we're looking for nip slips. We're looking for butt cracks. We're looking for camel toes because, you know, that's how God made us.
It is.
But Dakota wins with the GTK, which is basically the GTS.
Yeah.
What do you think of this match?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was it probably would have benefited the show if they put it in the second hour. I think it's we're going to get to the second hour was kind of fell off a little bit.
Are you familiar with Dakota Kai's past work?
Not really.
Yeah, me neither. I know that Shayna beat the shit out of her. That's all I remember.
Didn't she break her leg or she just came back from an injury?
Yeah, it had something to do with her leg.
Yeah. I mean, good for her.
It was a decent match. Yeah, Dakota Kai, I think she has the potential to be a future star. Maybe like a more slim Bailey, like Bailey minus the booty.
Yeah, Bailey minus the booty.
Then we smash cut to Killian Dane sitting in the outdoor patio by himself, very awkwardly.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward.
Previewing their match later with Matt Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Then we come to that was the main event next, the street fight for the future NXT title shot. Matt Riddle versus Killian Dane. What do you think about this match? Did you like how it ended? Did you like the spots?
I did like the spots. The ending, it always kind of throws me off when you have like a street fight kind of match and it ends in a tap out. Because it's like, you know, you guys went through all this stuff and then an armbar puts you down. But then again, it's coming from Matt Riddle, so it makes sense.
And Matt Riddle's known mainly for his, you know, technical wrestling and his submission wrestling. Then we got this mountain of hair, Killian Dane with crashing through the barricade with Riddle and 3 Vader bombs, kendo stick across the chair.
But that dynamic to me kind of reminded me of like the Kurt Angle, Shane McMahon street fight from King of the Ring, where you have one guy who's not known as a street fighter, known as, a technical wrestler and a submitter, someone who's more polished, going hardcore.
It kind of gave him like a new layer, like an
Yeah.
onion. Like he has another layer now. He has new skills that we didn't know he had.
Yeah.
That's a good observation.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed about Riddle that kind of bothers me: no shoes, no knee pads, no elbow pads. Dude comes out in his Tommy Johns, ready to wrestle.
Exactly.
It's crazy how he doesn't have any gear on. I mean, he's got to have some eventually. What do you think? Because there's wear and tear on your body out there, and the knee pads and shoes and elbow pads, that's meant to help you and make your career last longer. Like, what is he trying to prove? He already makes me look fatter than I am.
Yeah.
Why can't he just put on some protection?
Something, just put on some shoes, man. It's not that hard.
Exactly.
I thought he used to have shoes when he first started in NXT. Like his first match, he had boots on and then went to bare feet. But
all I remember is he's rocking the Crocs and he just throws them off or something when the match starts.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole no gear at all just really throws me off. Same thing with Ronda Rousey. She doesn't have knee pads on. There's a few other people that they don't wear. Like when Cody Rhodes for a while didn't have the knee pads, it just looks odd to me. Like you need something there.
It kind of made his chicken legs stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, they did.
Well, yeah, like you said, Matt Riddle, he won with the Fujiwara armbar. And next week we will see Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole, I believe.
Yeah, next week, the same night the AEW Dynamite
the first
debuts,
hour, the first hour of NXT was fantastic. I loved it. It was jam-packed, full of action. We had the Keith Lee match at the start. We had the street fight at the end. And then, sadly to say, the second hour, I think it fell off big time. Like I was kind of disappointed a little.
Same here. I mean, it felt longer than an hour. I think it was only like 47 minutes, but it felt like it just dragged on. Exactly. And that the Rhea Ripley match. I know we're getting to it, but that Rhea Ripley match was okay. Because I like Rhea Ripley in some bizarre way. I like Rhea Ripley, so that one was fine with me. But then after that, it really dropped off.
We started, like you said, off with Rhea Ripley versus Caden Carter. Carter has the long braided hair. Yeah. The whole entire match was okay, but my eyes were fixated on the chunky female ref. I don't know why I'm a huge fan of her. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off her. I was watching all her mannerisms and the way she was reffing. I was a bigger fan of Jessica Carr, the female ref, than the actual match. Rhea Ripley, she's hot, and I know Jake's a big fan, but it was an okay match. Ripley wins with the Riptide. It's just a pump handle power bomb.
Yeah, it was a squash match. It wasn't a squash match.
Yeah, pretty much. And then following that match, we had Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan take on Everrise.
Yeah,
the Canadians.
Yeah, that one. That's where I really think it started to drop off. I was like,
those are just a bunch of people that no one really is behind.
No.
Yeah. I mean, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch are incredible wrestlers.
They are,
especially on NXT UK. But the crowd was just, I don't know. I don't think it would have held the USA audience, so I'm glad they put it on the WWE Network. However, it was just lackluster for me. What do you think with the way the match went?
Same here. I mean, it was disappointing because, most NXT cards, the tag team matches that's what I look forward to because that's where all the action's at. Usually seems like, and especially when you got teams like Undisputed Era, the Street Profits, Revival, American Alpha back in the day. Like you have the tag team bar is set pretty high. So then to see this, it was these guys did a great job. They put on a decent match. Not great, but it wasn't
something
okay
to run home and tell your mom about.
It wasn't
a good exhibition, I guess.
Yeah, it was good wrestling, but that's what it was.
I thought the finisher was okay. The elevated DDT double team that they did, it was fine.
This is what
I don't know, maybe
this is what they'll be cutting out of the Hulu versions if it ever goes to Hulu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we follow that up with Cameron Grimes versus Raul Mendoza. What did you think about this match?
I got to be honest with you, I didn't see this one. I don't know if
It was okay.
I mean, it was. I saw like a little highlight video of it on YouTube afterwards. I think it was on YouTube, or somebody was reviewing it, but because I realized I had missed that. I'd missed a chunk of the show, so I wanted to make sure I knew what was going on. But it was all right. If the clip that I saw, the camera kept panning to Cameron Grimes' hat, which was kind of odd.
Yeah,
But
I paid attention to the match. It was okay. Cameron Grimes, you can tell, is going to be a future star. I guess they wanted to showcase him, and he wins with his finisher, the double stomp, the standing double stomp, it was fine.
Yeah.
But hopefully they do more character development because they're just throwing these guys out there with basically zero character development. They don't let them cut promos or have a presence that makes you want to. A presence that compels you. It's just a straight up match. It seems like they were trying to kill time. Leading up to the main event, we had Imperium show up, minus Walter, versus Kushida and the returning. Well, they've been there. Fashion Police with their new music and everything.
Yeah.
What did you think of this match?
Now with the fact that the Fashion Police were the mystery partners, it popped me and let me down at the same time, just because it was like I was waiting to see who it was going to be, and then when it was the Fashion Police, I did not expect it at all.
Yeah,
I did not expect them, but so that one part was cool. But then I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. Because I'll be honest with you, I thought it was going to be a typical WWE thing where they're just going to they had a bunch of British guys, and they're just going to find some Japanese guys to throw together.
Well, honestly, I thought it was going to be Mustache Mountain. I thought because Imperium was brawling with Mustache Mountain and British Strong Style, I thought we were going to see Tyler Bate and Trent Seven strut down the ring to help out Kushida. But yeah, you're right. I mean, typical WWE style.
Yeah.
Typical WWE style. They could have had fucking Kai and Tai come out there with Kushida because WWE loves pairing the races with Big E, and it's just so weird of them to do that shit. But
New Day.
Sorry. Hey, shout out to Big E. We had Walter come out and destroys Kushida, basically. I don't even think there was a finish to the match. It was cool to see all these guys together. I'm not really on the Kushida bandwagon yet. I need to see more from him. But it's cool that they have the NXT UK tie-in with Imperium. I'm not sure how that's going to go on moving forward. But I think it's elevating Kushida, basically. They want this little guy to seem bigger than he is and to become a bigger star. That's why they put him at the end of the show. Imperium is just dominant. Walter is amazing. I cannot wait to see what they do with them in the future. And I believe it was Andy who brought it up, upcoming War Games match. Imagine Imperium versus the Undisputed Era in a War Games match.
Ooh, dude, I just got chills right now.
That would be fucking amazing, dude.
That would.
But then again, the Undisputed Era has been in the past 2 War Games matches. Maybe they want to do something different, but I don't know.
Might. I mean, but if it's not broke, don't fix it.
I think this upcoming week's NXT is gonna be 10 times better than this one was.
I think
because, like you said this is the first week they're going head to head because the numbers were down this week for NXT, but they're just working. They're introducing the audience right now. They're just giving them samples of NXT. I think this coming Wednesday is gonna blow our fucking balls off. We got the NXT and we got AEW Dynamite. Are you going to be watching both the same day?
Yes. Yeah, I will. Just because I'm going to have to, I'm not, I like AEW, what they've done so far. I'm not a huge AEW mark, but I'm going to give them a chance just because I think that they're going to do something revolutionary. And then I think it's just going to elevate the level of NXT, having a competition with them. I mean, they're throwing Matt Riddle and they're throwing Matt Riddle and Adam Cole on the USA Network. That's like a takeover before WrestleMania kind of match right there.
Yes,
and they're just throwing it on USA. So if they're doing that, I'm interested to see what else is going to happen.
Do you have any predictions of what's going to happen in that match?
Oh, what I'm afraid of is it's going to be a no contest or a DQ for Matt Riddle or DQ win for Matt Riddle.
because of Undisputed Era gets involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that there's this makes no sense, but it would be awesome. You know, they should have Matt Riddle just completely destroy Adam Cole, and then have the rest of Undisputed Era turn on Adam Cole, and Matt Riddle be the new leader.
Oh, shit.
It would make no sense, but it'd be something crazy to do.
And then Adam Cole gets drafted to SmackDown and teams with Kevin Owens.
Oh, dude, there you go. Book it.
Damn.
I got to send a message to WWE now. See if I can make that happen.
Hurry, tweet him, hurry. Well, all right, man. Thank you for your time. You're an excellent guest, man.
Thank you, man. It was a pleasure.
It's always great getting to know the Steel Real After Party universe here. And, well, as always, all hail Linda's Bush.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again to Mr. Tryon for being a great guest today on The Hangover. And I cannot wait to hear his booking of the Steel Real After Party Royal Rumble. If you want to follow the Steel Real After Party podcast on Instagram, it's at Steel Real to Us. Want to follow the host? It's at After Party Jake, at After Party Zenka. If you go to Facebook, search Steel Real After Party and hit that like button. If you want to cover up your nips with some Steel Real merchandise, that's shop.spreadshirt.com/Steel Real After Party. You can get shirts like the Spoonful of Truth, Jake's Quotes, Finding Fuji, along with the After Party Pro Wrestling merchandise. And since you're on YouTube already, why don't you head on over and check out the After Party Pro Wrestling episodes. According to Jake, the next episode includes a super special secret match. So I can't wait to see that. Thank you for listening, and until next week, all hail Linda's Bush.